Hey, what is up everyone and welcome back to the Animus, and today we are unboxing the Mecha Industries Oberon. Let's get right to it. Now right off the bat you can see the beautiful box art from Mecha Industries for the Oberon itself, and I know what some of you are going to say. In my experience this looks like it's a Wing Zero and Exia had a baby, but I do love the fact that they went ahead and did a big design for this kid. So this box is right up there in size with the Red Ogre in regards to dimensions. So I am really hoping that I open this box and there's going to be a ton of runners in here, or that's at least what I'm expecting. So aside from that, the art itself is a beautiful box art. You turn the box to the side and you can see how they went and showed you a bunch of detail with a bunch of poses for the kit itself. And I want to say these are like feather bits, I guess, or funnels. And I think that that was a really nice addition to the kit itself as well. Turning on to the other side, you do have art as well as like the same as the front of the kit. And when you go ahead and turn to the other side, you do have the kit just stand on a standing pose on the stand that it actually brings, with the base stand that it actually brings, and an image representing the inner frame of the model itself. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what's inside. And of course I was right in regards to the box itself and the dimensions. This thing has a ton of runners in here. Everything is beautifully organized. As you can see here, you do have the metal plating kit. I think this is actually painted as well. I don't believe this is metal injection. This is gold painted for the actual model. So this is inner frame here. We have another one that's supposed to be outer shells, outer armors, in gold as well. And then you have rest inner frame parts as well as detailing parts as well in gold. Love the fact that they went ahead and painted it instead of doing metal injection, because we all know that metal injection does not look very well when it comes to metallic parts. So I'm actually glad that they went ahead and coated the parts instead. Just for the next runner, you do have your first set of wing parts. It does have a lot of surface detail on it as well as small detail parts that I'm guessing it'll go with the model itself. It does have a lot of surface detail for panel line, and also in case you do want to paint the model kit, this seems like a good candidate for masking parts. Now next up, in the next few runners, you do have a bag with the actual base itself. And I do want to make sure that I tell you that this is all detail. So in case you wanted to like panel line this or paint it or shade it, maybe give it like a I don't know, a dry brush look, you could actually do that as well. I love the fact that they did this with the engraving in the actual base, and it actually catches your eye very well when you are displaying the piece. Then after that, you do have more gold runners. And like I said, like I mentioned before, this thing has a lot of surface detail. So definitely a good candidate for either dry brushing, you know, if you're trying to do that, or if you're trying to panel line, paint details or hand paint details as well, or if you just wanted to paint the whole kit, it does have a lot of that. Next up, we do have clear runner parts. So these clear runner parts seem to be for weapons and the actual model itself. I do like the fact that they went ahead and added surface detail to them. For those of you that like to do like UV reactive stuff, this is actually a good candidate for that, as well as most of the clear parts do have inlets or slots or actual panel lines, so that way you can go ahead and put that in there. Moving on to the next one, you do have this kind of salmon pinkish, you know, looking runner here. It doesn't look that bad. Myself, preferably, I think it looks more like a light purple. Let's go with like light purple for the certain details as well. And as I can see here, it's not really like a glossy color. It's more like a kind of semi-gloss to matte color. It actually looks really good. It does have a lot of surface detail. It seems to be a lot of detailing for thrusters and shoulder parts and leg parts as well. I do see here that this goes on the chest for where you put the head on. So the details on this is great as well. I do see that this kit, even though it's one of those kits that have been, recently released, it does have a lot of surface detail in regards to panel lining, so it's not going to require a lot of like rescribing or anything like that, which I know most of you are afraid of. Next, we do have more parts. Now, this is a light gray part, and this seems to be the feathers for the funnels. I love that they're doing color separation with grays and whites. It does call out a lot when you are building the models like this. And before I go any further, I do want to mention these runners are insanely big, and they have a ton of small parts on them. So when you do decide to build this kit, please make sure to be careful that you don't drop any of these parts, because some of these parts, when you compare the size of my hand, they're very, very small. This seems to be like a weapon runner or a weapon detail runner in joints. So damn, this thing is big. Up next, we do have parts for the actual base itself, and I do want to mention that this stand looks like it's going to be super sturdy, as well as having a ton of detail for customization or painting or panel lining. Next runner we have here is a white runner, which also has parts, and I can already see here that it does have some of those details that we have been looking forward in some of the newer kits, which is going to be when you are building a kit, when you have parts that will show through the actual outer shell of the kit itself. And I am loving that in this kit, to include all the surface detail for panel lining. Up next, we do have joints, inner frame parts, and also, you know, weapon parts here. This seems to be like a standard dark gray, which it resembles, usually dark gray is for resembling metal. So I actually do like the fact that it's all the parts seem pretty sturdy as well. So you just have to be careful. Next up, you do have more white runner and armor pieces. Now, the details on this shield piece, I believe this is a shield. The details on this shield look great. I know for a fact that a lot of people were worried with this kit in regards to building it, that it was going to have a lot of problems in regards to panel line and detail. Like I mentioned before, this thing has a lot of nice detailing and panel line. And now next up, for the actual runners for the feathers, this thing looks really, really nice. I was actually really looking forward to building this. I've built the Perfect Gray Wing Zero, I've built the Prelude, and I've built the Verka. So I saw this model and I was like, look, this thing looks like it has a lot of relationship with that kit. It looks really similar. So I love the fact that they went ahead and did all the detail for the feathers as well. I believe that these wings are perfect candidates for pre-shading based on all the actual contour that it has. So it's up to you whether or not you want to paint this kit. Either way, you could actually panel line these and it'll look really good. Next up, you do have more runners with more feather and wing parts. Out here, this looks like inner frame for the actual shield and weapon systems, as well as wings. I know that from experience, you're building kits that have wings like the Wing Zero. And for those of you that built like the real great Wing Zero, you can tell that, even though it has nice wings and it looks good, depending on how you pose it, the inner frame doesn't look that good because most of the times those pieces are hollow. But in this case, it does have parts for those. Up next, you do have a light gray. You have a light gray runner for parts for the model kit itself, as well as feathers and weapons. This thing looks really good. It looks like it's going to have a lot of color separation, so you don't have to worry about, a lot of color correcting stickers or anything like that, which is actually great. Over here, you do have another light gray runner, and I want to show you the contrast that this kit is going to have once you go ahead and build it. So you'll see how it contrasts with the white and the gray, and then it'll contrast with the dark gray as well. So it's going to look really good once built. Last but not least, it does seem like there's more parts here for the actual base itself, as well as feather and weapon system. So that's a lot of runners. And the last runner in the box is going to be for the actual effect parts and display for the feathers, or the feather funnels, if you want to call them that. So that's pretty much it. I don't believe there's anything else inside the box. I just picked this up from the box just to show you guys. And this is a magazine size manual. When you open it up, you do have the sheet for the water slide decals. And I do want to mention that if you saw the unboxing I did for the Achilles, this has less water slide decals than the Achilles did. Now, I get it. Sometimes less is more because you want to make sure that you show all the details for the model itself. But the water slide decals don't seem to be covering a lot of space. So I'm really wondering once I build it how it's going to look with the water slides on. And for the manual itself, it is a hefty magazine in black and white with all the processes to build the model itself, as well as the base. One thing that I can say about this actual model is that it will show you how to pose everything with the base on, with all the attachments needed. It also does have a decal manual for whenever you're applying the water slide decals. However, it is in black and white, so you can take that with a grain of salt. One last thing I want to mention from this kit is that, as everybody was expecting, or as I was expecting at least, this kit is completely undergated. So you're not going to have any issues with nut marks, and if you do have any nut marks, they're probably going to be hidden from the actual naked eye. I know that some people have concerns when it comes to straight building kits that might have nut marks. I do have tutorials on how to remove those if you guys are interested. However, this kit is completely undergated, and it should be a quick build, to be honest, even though it has a lot of runners. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing for the Mecha Industries Oberon, and keep a lookout for the review on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.